Hello and welcome back to Just for Today. I'm Jamal Normie.
Hey, I'm Miranda, the addict.
And today's topic is find a hobby. But before we do that, we have a scripture. It goes
Corinthians 3:2. I totally lost it. Corinthians 3:2. Set your mind on things above, not on things on earth.
Okay. That's good scripture. So yeah, finding a hobby. So I think part of the thing with things like addiction and things in general, just being idle, like part of the recovery or keeping you on the road of not being in remission and keeping you from relapsing is you got to keep your mind busy. So also in general, like too many people don't know much about themselves. Like you don't know what you're gonna like until you try it. So find a hobby. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, you're right. Find a hobby. Yeah, I would. Well, what I have to say about it though, about the whole finding a hobby and with it relating to like drug addiction, like I was thinking about the topic when we were going to talk about it today, and I'm like, find a hobby. Like I don't have a hobby right now, but so I was thinking back to like the days that I was, in active addiction, and it's like, and I'm just being honest, like getting high was my hobby, like getting high and then doing my hobbies, like me and Ariana doing our nails, even with the kids, just doing projects, like reading all the time, and just like, I always like to read and learn and color and, do all kinds of things, like, but that was my hobby, was just like getting high. Mm-hmm. And that's how I related to the scripture, because it's like I was just so focused on, like, my mind was focused on the earth, and like right now, I was thinking about, I'm like, what's my hobby? Like, you keep on calling me lazy, and you keep on calling, saying I don't do anything, and it's like, and I'm like trying not to make excuses, and it's like it's a daily chore. And I mean, I hate to say it because I know how you are, like it's a daily chore just to wake up, get dressed, and like go to work and just do the normal, responsible adult stuff. Like my hobby is staying clean. My hobby is like not going to the drugs and like focusing on God. So it's like I'm trying to focus on above and not below, So like right now, my hobby is, just focusing on God and trying to find my closer relationship with Him. So yeah. I don't really have like a hobby.
Well, in a way, church is your hobby right now, but also that's the point though, so that you're not focusing on just having to wake up and do all this stuff. Like right. You're taking that focus and you're putting it somewhere else. So that's why I'm always giving you things to try to do, like puzzles, or trying to get you to do that wood etching stuff, and
wood etching,
the burning in wood thing, or like
I know, but and that's what's like I want to say struggle, but like I want to do those things because I know I enjoyed those things. Mm-hmm. But when I was high, like when I was high, like my mind was just like on focus, like I literally had a joy doing puzzles. I had a joy on, doing stuff like that. And like right now I just get overwhelmed. If you want to, we're at church, or you get, we're trying to put a basketball hoop together, and I have to look at those instructions, like, the old me, like on one, was just like, okay, let's do this. This is what we're gonna do. This is, I would be on it. But like right now, I just get overwhelmed, and then it takes me back to like, well, my mind's not the way it used to be. Like now my mind, like I get overwhelmed and I struggle, and I don't enjoy it because it's hard work for me to do just those basic things. Like, so it's hard for me to find joy. I want to do those puzzles. Like I get excited that you bought me puzzles for Christmas, and I'm like, that's my goal. Like I want to do it. I want to go back and like, be able to like challenge myself and do stuff like that without relating to, well, I can only do it when I'm high, or that's the only time I enjoy doing it.
You gotta stop. You have to do like what Elsa? What's her Elsa? Let it go.
Let it go. Well, yeah.
You can't focus. You're focusing too much on the negative, and that's a lot of the things that I see. You focus on the negative instead of just focusing on what's in front of you. Which, I mean, it is what it is. But instead of thinking that it's hard and then thinking over here, like you need to stop and just be here.
Well, I'm at the point now where I'm like waking up every day and like just praying, you know, like I'm honestly like praying to God, like give me the motivation. Just, you know, Mother Josie on Sunday, she told me a story about like how you can be so dark inside, you know, but you know, God comes in and he paints, you know, a pretty picture. He paints that black into yellows and whites and stuff. And so, like, I'm trying not to focus on that negative, you know? So, like, lately, since you've been calling me out, saying how, like, lazy I am, like, that's what I'm literally, like, just praying to, because, again, you know, it's hard. I don't know if it's hard for you to understand or anyone else to understand, like, what I mean to where, like, that whole serotonin, like, I don't have a natural, like, serotonin. So, like, right now, I'm legitimately, like, relying on God to, like, paint me bright inside. Like I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy what I'm doing now. Like I can sit here and say like, oh, I'm like, you know, 2 years, you know, clean. It's like, what is that if I'm not really enjoying life? Like all I'm doing is just not getting high. Like, and that's all what I've been doing this whole time. You know, they say fake it till you make it. Like, okay, I don't have the cravings anymore. I'm not going, you know, wanting to like go get high or anything. But like that's, you know, I'm at the point where I need to like move forward and like I want to enjoy life. I want to enjoy doing stuff.
That's the point though, because you don't do anything. You just lay and sit.
Okay.
And then that's not
okay. And I thought, okay, you were gonna say that, right? And so it got me thinking, well, why am I like all we do is just like watch TV? Okay, before COVID or whatever, like we can't go out and do anything. But it's like, okay, so when we got together and you know we started to move in with each other, like, you know, you're all about Marvel movies, like, and I literally had to watch all of the Marvel movies from beginning to end because one of them was coming out and I needed to know the whole storyline.
I had to know the storyline.
Legitimately took me 6 months.
It might take 6 months.
Okay, and then I had to watch, what's it called? Grey's Anatomy.
You didn't get that far in Grey's Anatomy.
Okay, but all I did was like the first 6 months of my recovery, all I did was just, you know, from beginning to like season 12 or whatever, like watch Grey's Anatomy. And it's like, and that's just so opposite of me. Like during my addiction, like I never had time to just sit down and like watch shows and watch movies. And I get it that you have a passion for that. And, you know, and I'm like, I want to watch something real, not, you know, this fantasy or whatever. And you enjoy that. But my whole point is, like, that's your fun. Like that's what you do. So I got into this whole habit of just like, you know, watching TV, watching movies when, you know, you asked me if I've watched this, if I watched that. Like I've never seen movies. I've never seen these shows because again, in my addiction, I was like, boom, boom. I was always like doing stuff. And like, so right now I'm just in the habit of, you know, just coming home and relaxing and just watching whatever you have on YouTube and, you know.
But that's not because of that. Like if you could, you would sleep all day. It has nothing to do with the other. And again, that's why I give you I've gotten you the, to see the moon. What's it called? Telescope, the puzzle, like there's like a good 50 different things that, like, don't try to twist things around. It has nothing to do with the fact that we sat
and watched all the time. But that goes back, okay, you're right, okay, you got me a telescope and everything, but like my passions aren't there. I'm not making excuses, but
you don't know what your passion is until you try it.
Right, but those were my passions, like, you know, all about the moon and the stars and this and that, like the telescope, like that's, you know, I still relate that to like the old me, like that was like my passion before, like, and I don't know if that's what I want now, like, well, because like we can't even go in the backyard and look up, you know, in the telescope.
But my point is, I'm not, you don't know what you're gonna like until you try it. If you're just laying around, you're not going to find anything, ever.
Right.
So, and it's not keeping your mind occupied by doing that. It just makes you sit and you think and you watch something and then it reminds you of something,
right.
Blah, blah, blah. My point is to get a hobby,
right.
Find something you like doing.
Right.
If you've never tried it, to try it.
I know.
It requires you to get up. It requires you to do stuff. And And contrary to what you think, it's not easy, addict or not, to get up every day and do things. Like, do I want to get up every day and study stuff for church? Do I want to get up every day and help somebody else figure something else out? Do I want to get up every day?
But
like,
we should.
What?
But we should. That's the whole thing. Like, if you're so connected to God, and you should want to like wake up and like, hey, you know what? I'm gonna get to like help somebody today. Like I was telling you today at work, like one of my patients, referenced me as like, one of my other patients said, oh, how great you are. And I'm like, wow, I haven't heard that in a while because I'm so grumpy now. I'm so, I miss that, like me going out of my way and beyond what my job, asks of me, because it made me feel good to help other people. And like right now I'm just in this funk of like, I'm just trying to get through the day.
Yeah, I see it. I know, but we're all human. Like it's not, you should want to, but if you don't, it doesn't make you a bad person, but you should make the effort.
But being closer to God, like, he wants us to work through him. So being closer to God, like, that's where, like, it should fill that void of, like, not wanting to wake up in the morning or, wanting to help people or do your job or whatever. Like, you see those hardcore, like, soulful, like, Christians where you never see them, you never hear them complain. You never hear that, whatever you ask of them, they'll do it without even, like, batting an eye.
So I think you're saying a lot of stuff that a lot of people have issues with. Like, you're assuming that all these people want to do all these things. It's not that everybody's human. Like, everybody is human. Nobody wants to be on 100% of the time. The difference is that they're making that effort to do it.
Right.
And because no one's seeing it, doesn't mean it's not happening. Like, things happen behind closed doors. Things happen,
right,
when you're not seeing them. They're just putting forth the effort, and that's the difference of what I'm trying to teach you.
I just don't have any effort. I'm struggling.
Yeah, you are. I know.
Right now. Like,
I know. And it's not easy.
I'm not trying to make an excuse though.
I know. I'm not saying trying to make an excuse.
It sounds like, well, it is though. It is an excuse because, if I recognize it and I know I'm doing it, but I'm still continuing to do it, like, it is an excuse.
Well, yeah, I just have to make the effort. It's not easy for anybody. Like, and eventually maybe it does become easier once things start to align, but this is a topic for another time. But there's so many things that the foundation of everything has to be so great for you to be standing on to be able to do all these things. So work, finances, all this other things. You have a full-time job and then you have full-time church. Like, if you only had church,
right,
you can go out and do these things that you want to do, but because you have a full-time job, because you're, if you're a parent, there's so many things on people's plates these days because of the way that we all started, it's making, this down here is bad, the foundation, and then so it makes everything else harder. But once you get that foundation down, then everything changes.
Right. And I thought I had the foundation down.
But I'm
working on the foundation.
You're working on the foundation. So first thing, we got to get you, getting into a job that you like doing. So much of people work 5 days a week and 8 to 9 hours in a job that they generally don't like. Mm-hmm. That drains energy. You get home and then you don't want to do anything, right? Like, that's majority of society these days. Because you didn't grow up to understand how to use your money correctly, you're not in a place where you probably want to be in life. Like, there's so many, the majority of people are in that percentage where they're not happy every day. So if you did start and have the money that you needed to do, you were saving, you don't have to worry about a car payment, a house payment, and all this stuff, and you have a job you like, or your job is doing what you're doing, like you're in a position where you're helping or being able to volunteer because you don't have to worry about bills,
right,
you're not dissatisfied. So you can't fix that per se. You're already in the situation that you're in, most people. So that's what leads to some of the stuff that you're saying. But your foundation, us in America, in school, we didn't learn about finances and things like that. Like, it's not the stuff I had to teach you guys. you guys didn't know, you know. It's just how we're raised in America. A lot of places, but in America definitely, like our schools are just not adequate, the public system. So you don't know these things, and now you're 20 or 30, 28, 30, 40 years old, then figuring it out, and it's all connected.
Right.
So that's a story for another time, but yeah, and just give yourself a hobby. Try different things. Don't say no to things. Like, try it. You never know you're gonna like something until you try it. Like, my big thing is try something at least 3 times. Sometimes you can get it wrong the first time. Maybe painting, getting a dog. Well, maybe not necessarily being responsible for another life. So the point is to find a hobby, try different things, try something you like. You never know what you're gonna like until you try it. For me, it's like music, like playing the saxophone, pets. Like, if it was up to me, I would have like 3 acres of land with like 500 dogs. Feeding them would be the chore. But, I like to rescue animals, things like that. Like, what is your hobby? Taking care of something, though. Until you can take care of yourself, you probably shouldn't get something else that's alive to take care of.
Plant first.
Yeah, maybe a plant, and if that's dying, then
I kill every plant.
I kill everything.
No, Ariana, my kids are alive.
Only because they can do stuff themselves. Fish.
A bunny. A cactus.
Yeah.
Kill the cactus.
Yeah, you kill a lot of things. But yeah, like paint, art, sports, like something that can take your focus off something. But again, though, just like you were saying, the idea is to focus on that thing, not focus on the thing to focus on the thing. So don't focusing on the negative aspect of it. Just focus on the hobby. Occupy your mind. If your mind's occupied, through time, you'll stop thinking about the things that are bothering you. Well, that's all the time we have for today. Leave us a comment below. Do you have a hobby? What do you like doing? Are you looking for a hobby? Maybe I can give you some ideas. This could be the first start of a long conversation, but most importantly, just remember to keep coming back.
Stay clean.
Bye.
Bye. Or above, not on things that are on earth. Would you eat hot Cheetos? Let me see your fingers.
What?
You ate hot Cheetos?
What are you talking about? Enchiladas?
Answer my question. Did you eat hot Cheetos?
Enchiladas? What are you talking about?
They're all over your mouth.
What are you talking
your
about?
Your lips are red.
No, they're not.
You are.
They're not.
Jamal. Do you want to see what you want to see?
See what? I don't need to see anything.
Okay.
See what?
Colossians 3. Just be careful with my hair. It's like, see right there? I can't turn to you, so.
Why?
Cause I have my hair is not done. Cause it's all bumpy over here.
Bumpy?
Yes.
How does your hair get bumpy?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?
Alright, close that door.
Who closed it?
Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay. Ready?
Do that we have a scripture. Goes.
Corinthians 3:2. I totally lost it. I have no idea. 3:2. Set your mind on things that are above, not on things that are on earth. Okay.
Keep you on the road of not being in remission or what's the word? What's the word you guys call it?
Okay. Wait. What? Yeah, it's remission.
Relapse.
What happened?
You check the battery?
What? Oh, I didn't check the battery. I just checked to see if the battery was working. Well, I was just told what to check on.
Didn't check the battery. You don't just check to make sure it's in there. Check the battery.
I'm not supposed to be on social media. I'm not on social media. All I've been doing is checking the news and my mail. But I'm okay though. I haven't had any issues with wanting to get on social media. It's more of just a habit. Just getting in the habit of just checking and updating and getting on Snap and taking selfies. Just more of a habit more of anything. Like I don't need it, I don't crave it. It's just more of a habit. And it actually feels pretty good. Like not constantly being on Facebook or Instagram or Snap. Like, you know, I don't need to like, you know, I don't constantly like need that. What battery? So if I check the camera, I check to see if it had a battery in there.
You check to see if the battery life.
Okay, so I didn't do that. So if I turn it on and like the battery is low,
Then you replace the battery.
just say
You have one job.
I checked the battery. There was a battery inside.
There's batteries inside these too. What'd you do?
Oh, I checked one to make
Sure that they weren't dying.
Well, you
That's
said it
the
on
whole point.
those, but you didn't say it on the
On
camera.
everything. Alexa, turn it off.
I have no idea what we were talking about.
I don't either. Got anything else?
Mm-mm.